listeners, and welcome to today's edition of the Peggy Smedley Show. As always, I'm your host, Peggy Smedley. While 74% of manufacturers say their company has a global production system, and wait for it, only 29% report that it is fully implemented across all sites. Now, yikes, right? Sometimes I think they make these numbers up because they seem so outrageous. But the hard reality is, we all know it's true. But it is a big challenge that many in the manufacturing industry face today. Many manufacturers have production systems, improvement programs, even data, lots of data. But too many struggle to implement them consistently across their organizations. There are many reasons for this, which we'll talk about here on the first segment of the show today. And to make matters worse, this is one of the biggest challenges many manufacturers are facing today. In fact, a recent McKinsey survey of more than 100 manufacturers' chief operations officers highlights the problem. Now, let me give you a little context, maybe better context, for this statistic that we started the show with. While 74% say their company has a global production system, only 29% report that it is fully implemented across all sites. Most organizations use these systems in only certain plants or functions. Now understand what we just said. As a result, adoption remains incomplete across the entire enterprise. Now that raises an important question. Why do so many efforts fall short? Interesting question. McKinsey points to a common problem. Companies are trying to drive continuous improvement without the continuous connected insight that technologies such as AI can make possible. Now think about this. This often leads to one of two traps. Let's think about the first one. The first trap, of course, is fragmentation. Organizations launch multiple improvement initiatives. They invest in digital tools. They run transformation programs, but none of them are fully connected. The pieces never come together into a single system. Now let's think about the second trap, which is over-centralization. Leaders try to force consistency from the top down. They create standards. They increase oversight. They add more controls. But local teams can sometimes struggle to make those standards work within their very unique environments. We've all seen it. So then companies end up stuck. How many times do I talk about they just are stuck, like concrete, cement? Too much independence creates silos. Too much control creates resistance. How do you solve that problem? With people and data. So let me explain. Factories generate huge amounts of data, of information every single day. Machines generate data. Operators record observations. Quality teams collect measurements. All of this is familiar to you. Maintenance teams track downtime. Supply chains create transaction records. We all know this. We all know all the silos. The problem isn't the lack of information, because we have lots of information, operational, financial. The problem is that information gets trapped, gets locked. It gets held up in spreadsheets. It lives in local systems, siloed systems, and it remains inside individual plants. We all know this. Sometimes it exists only in the minds of experienced employees. We talk about when people retire, there goes all that great knowledge, there goes all that great information. And when information gets trapped, learning gets trapped too. For heaven's sakes, this is the big kahuna. This is where the big opportunity lies. This is where companies can do something different. It's all about the data. Remember, we say it all the time, data, data, data. For me, this is how a plan grows. This is how people grow. Let me give you an imaginary, or maybe give you this idea. I imagine a manufacturing plant that's learning continuously. An organization where every factory contributes to a shared pool of knowledge. When one plant solves a problem, everyone benefits. When one team discovers a better process, others can adopt it quickly. When one site identifies a risk, the other organization or the entire organization gains visibility as a result. Every improvement becomes a learning opportunity for the entire system. Not one facility, not just one department, the entire organization. This changes how continuous improvement works. Instead of learning once a year, during audits or reviews, organizations are learning every day, every minute. They learn from successes, they learn from failures, they learn from each other. We all learn. Technology can help make this possible. Now, don't confuse this. AI isn't the goal. AI is the connector. AI can analyze the data across multiple facilities. It can identify patterns humans might miss. That's what we've been talking about. It can highlight risks before they become major problems. Imagine several factories experiencing small increases. Each increase seems minor. No individual site sees a major concern, but AI can recognize a pattern across the organization. That's the cool part. It can identify a shared cause, and it can alert leaders before the issue spreads. Kind of like a flu, kind of like a giant infection. That's the value of a connected insight. Problems become visible sooner, solutions move faster, learning spreads further. But technology alone isn't enough. Let's understand that. The real objective, in my mind, is creating a continuous learning circle, a giant learning circle. Data creates insights. Insight drives priorities. Priorities lead to action. Actions create results. Results, in my mind, generate a new learning community. Then the cycle starts again and it repeats itself. The faster the cycle moves, the stronger the organization becomes. That's the power here. Many organizations talk about digital transformation. They talk about sensors and dashboards and analytics and AI, and they're talking about all these really cool things. It's now time to ask a very important question. How quickly can the organization truly learn? That's what we want to know. If a problem appears today, how long does it take for it to understand it? How long does it take to fix it? How long does it take to share that solution across the entire facility? Maybe we should ask, how long does it take it to fix it across the entire organization? Many facilities. Those answers determine how competitive a company, an organization can become. Organizations don't need to choose between local flexibility and enterprise consistency. They can have both. That's the power. They can have guided autonomy. The company establishes common goals, metrics, and definitions for success. But local teams decide how to achieve those goals. Pretty cool, right? That's how I see it. The center provides visibility, the sites provide innovation, the organization learns together without becoming overly rigid. That's when everyone gets all weirded out and complains. AI can support this model. It can identify relevant best practices. It can suggest potential solutions. Team members still make the decisions. We want the human in the loop, but they can make those decisions with better information. So here's my opinion for today. We need to move beyond reactive data. Many organizations, if you think about this, spend their time explaining what already happened. That happened yesterday. It happened before. Why did downtime increase? Why did quality decline? Why did costs rise? Those questions matter. We get that. Look at it this way. Look at what the machine told us. Great. We got that. What risks are emerging? What opportunities are developing? Connected insights helps organizations become proactive, not reactive. And that is the biggest opportunity of all. We all know this from 20 years ago. That's why we called it M2M. It gave us great data. Data is only good if we can act upon it. That's what we want. IoT is better when we can act on real-time decisions from it. That's the real part that we're talking about. Now let's go back to where we started. 74% of manufacturing leaders say they have global production system. Only 29% say it fully implemented across all sites. That gap tells an important story. Most companies don't need another initiative. They need better connections between the initiatives they already have. We need better connection points. We need to connect the data, the people, the learning, and the action. This approach addresses the real challenge facing manufacturers today. So here's my tip. Before investing in new AI tools, identify where knowledge gets stuck inside your organization. Find the places where insights stop moving. Fix those bottlenecks. So before someone comes in to sell you AI, take a deep breath, step back, look at the insights, make real-time decisions from them, and then move forward. Then use technology to accelerate learning across the entire network. That's when connected insights become truly powerful. Now you can use AI to make truly informed decisions about the future. That's the power of real knowledge. That's the power of what the future is all about. Okay, listeners, that is all the time we have for today. Make sure to share and subscribe to our episodes each week. Make sure to share your thoughts with me on X at Connected World, or follow me on LinkedIn and continue the conversation that is there. Please check out our website at connectedworld.com or our show website at thepeggysmedleyshow.com. Remember, we broadcast live every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central, and you can see our podcast every Thursday. This is the Peggy Smedley Show, your voice for our Connected World. And remember, with great technology comes great responsibility.